All right, to introduce our first fighter, back to the cage of Jennifer Oxendine.
Our next bout of the evening is brought to you by Fighting for Autism and is in the flyweight division. First, please welcome to the cage, Kacee Leekley.
Kacee Leekley, 0-1, as Kacee mentioned, out of Team Ground Control in Dayton, Tennessee. 5'5", 29-year-old. Last fight, which was his MMA debut, lost to Charles Henry. That was a unanimous decision loss at Absolute Cage Fights. And that was back in November of 2010, that 5-year layoff. And we've seen some long layoffs. Sometimes guys come back and don't miss a beat, and other times it really shows.
Leekley is amped up too. Look at this guy. He came firing out of that locker room, pounding his fist, and he's ready to jump in there, man. He is guns a-blazing. Of course, a karate background, training with Curtis Elser and Tim Kitts. We all know Tim very well. Like you said, he does prefer to strike, but I mean, a guy that's been around the sport for as long as he has, he's going to be well-rounded.
And likes to prefers to strike. Will Bolduc, though, a little more well-rounded. He can stand up. He can get you on the ground. He's a little more well-rounded, right?
Right, but you have to watch out with these small gloves on. A one-punch knockout can happen in a New York minute, or a Knoxville minute in this case.
All right, back to the cage and Jennifer Oxendine.
And his opponent, please put your hands together for Will Bolduc.
Will Bolduc from Knoxville, the 28-year-old, 5'4", 6-5 in his MMA career, D1 MMA, Team Chaos, working, of course, with the legendary Josh Cate, and he trained with Kacee Leekley and has been pretty stunned that Leekley tried to call him out, and this has gone to trash talk from that standpoint.
And a crowd favorite hitter. Now you heard it. You heard that crowd absolutely roar when they announced his name.
Tail of the tape, Kacee Leekley at 0-1, Will Bolduc, a lot more experience, and this could be his final amateur bout as he could turn pro here very soon, maybe at the next Knoxville event. Leekley is 1 year older, 1 inch taller, and then the weight, Leekley 2 pounds heavier than Will Bolduc. Will Bolduc has been hyping up this bout and has engaged in that trash talk. It'll be interesting, Kacee, the concussion. What is that like for a fighter and also for a trainer to have a guy have to take some time off because of suffering a concussion?
It's difficult because your will is there. You're ready to go, but when you start to get hit, it just buckles your knees. Your body feels it, and you just have to take that time.
All right, we'll keep that in mind throughout the bout. Back to the cage for official fighter introductions. Here's Jennifer Oxendine.
This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. First, fighting out of the Hog's red corner, he weighed in at 127 pounds, holds a record of 0 wins and 1 defeat, and represents Team Ground Control in Dayton, Tennessee. Put your hands together for Kacee Leekley. And his opponent, fighting out of the OEB blue corner, he weighed in at 125 pounds, holds a record of 6 wins and 5 defeats, represents D1 MMA Chaos in Knoxville, Tennessee, and is currently the reigning flyweight Valor champion. Put your hands together for Will Bolduc. Your referee for this fight is Jimmy Neely.
Kacee Leekley in the blue trunks out of Dayton, Tennessee. Will Bolduc with a crowd behind him here in Knoxville in the black and yellow trunks and the music that he comes out to every time. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Jimmy Neely, our referee here in this non-title flyweight bout, as Will Bolduc is the current Valor flyweight champion. Non-title bout coming back from concussion against Kacee Leekley.
These guys are slated as 1 inch apart in height, but it doesn't look that way. That was a big shot there by Kacee Leekley right out of the gate. Will Bolduc looks to have that chin a little bit high for my liking. And Leekley is very dangerous right now.
And Will Bolduc with holding on to that left leg.
Yep, he
shooting the
secured
right
the
leg.
takedown,
Yep.
but Leekley's still in the seated position. He's not completely down, and look at this. He's controlling it, and it looks like he's looking to secure the guillotine. A little bit of blood coming from someone,
it's Bolduc.
possibly Bolduc's nose. It is, and it is pouring like a sieve right here.
Wow.
It is coming out everywhere. He's going to need to get on this and get on it quickly.
My goodness, that is a lot of blood.
Yes. And again, it is the nose, but you do have to get that stop. These guys cannot roll around in this blood.
Jimmy Neely keeping a close eye on it.
It's everywhere.
My goodness, now it's on the chest of.
Yep. And Leekley, very refined. This is an early advantage for Leekley in my estimation. If he can keep hammering at Will Bolduc, this can be a game changer.
Wow.
Especially with Bolduc coming off of that that issue with the concussion. You know the referee's going to be in there looking closely.
And we are halfway through round number 1, so still a ways to go here with that leaky nose, with all the blood coming out from Bolduc.
And this gets into a situation where, you know, can the referee permit Will Bolduc to bleed to that degree onto Kacee Leekley? You know, I mean, he's absolutely covered in it, and they're going to start sliding around. And I don't mean to be gruesome about it, but I mean it is a situation that the entire mat is turning red at this point.
It is unbelievable how much blood is on the mat right now and on Leekley. My goodness.
So slippery. And
what about the work? I mean, is Bolduc doing enough on top here?
I think Will Bolduc is definitely winning the round so far. As far as technically speaking, he's not done a whole lot of damage. He did secure the takedown, but damage is a portion of the fight, you know? And you got to think, man, you know, I know these guys are tested and approved and all that, but, you know, it depends on an individual how they feel about getting bled on like that. I mean, that's a lot of blood all over Kacee Leekley, and it's not his own.
And it's hard even for Bolduc to change positions to advance because he slips when he's trying to move. Normally you have a grip, and they're getting to the final 10 seconds of round number 1. And we're going to get to the end of round number 1. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it appears as though the bleeding has stopped momentarily, which is a very good thing.
Wow. So yeah, I was about to ask you, will they do some cleanup, some extra cleanup here? Maybe this could extend the.
Well, and I will say this, and this is again not trying to be gruesome about it, but Kacee Leekley, if he doesn't want to be on bottom, if he's trying to anti-grapple and trying to throw strikes, truthfully speaking, the blood makes it more slippery. It makes it more difficult. It's almost like putting Vaseline on your body.
Yeah, a lot of extra work in wiping down the mat here as Will Bolduc and Kacee Leekley in the first. And we'll take a look at here, see if we can find the spot where the hit occurred.
That was it. That was a big, nasty right hand right out of the gate here.
And I think you had just mentioned that his chin was up. Will's chin was up
slightly,
higher than
but it really wasn't his chin that got it. It was his nose.
Right, but did that put him in a more vulnerable position?
I think it always does. When your head is up, it is much easier for a strike to drive your head backwards when you want to be driving forward.
And the breathing aspect as well, as we're underway here in round number 2. Jimmy Neely, our referee.
Bolduc looks to be very in control here, very focused, pressing to the cage here again. No bleeding. That's the big thing. Yeah, it looked like Leekley was claiming a low blow here, not seen. Jimmy Neely did not see that, and the action is going to continue here.
And what about the breathing now? If he has a broken nose, what about the breathing there for Bolduc?
I don't think there's a problem here. I think fighters, they train all the time with broken nose. You see world championships change hands by fighters with broken nose. Leekley here with almost like a bulldog headlock throw, but he doesn't have the arm in, which makes it very difficult for him to complete it. And now Will Bolduc lands on top in crossbody position. Great position here for the first time.
Minute gone by in round number 2.
Now, if I'm in in Bolduc's position, I would take some time here in this position, really wear on it. Look like he's going after that leg Kimura a little bit. I would take my time in crossbody. Wait a little bit to move to mount. A lot of things can happen in mount. With Leekley is such a long competitor.
He went for it, and he's in mount.
And he's there, tightly on the hips of Kacee Leekley.
Halfway through round number 2, non-title flyweight bout. Bolduc, the flyweight champ.
Both of Leekley's hands down sort of low, and it would seem that when Will Bolduc decides to raise up and land shots, he's going to be able to do it. As I say that, Leekley ends up on top. Now let's check out the guard of Will Bolduc.
Bolduc in the black and yellow. Leekley in the blue trunks, red, white, and blue.
Oh, and another beautiful sweep back on top by Will Bolduc, landing in half guard this time. Still a great position. He has the far side underhook there and complete control. Leekley doesn't seem to have any answers for the ground attack of Will Bolduc.
Bolduc hasn't been able to land clean.
Now Bolduc opening up here. And the fight is done.
Wow.
I don't know if it was a tap or if it was a stoppage. Will Bolduc, it was a close situation there, close call. But he takes home the win to the delight of the fans here at the International.
And rallying from adversity with that nose, all of the blood. And Will Bolduc stayed after it with his nose blood just gushing out, and picks up the win for Team Chaos. What a job by Will Bolduc, who may have just won his final MMA bout.
Absolutely. You see here Bolduc doing what he does, landing some ground and pound. He had just reversed back into top position, opening up. There's a big right hand there that got through. Another big right hand. It appears as though Leekley was trying to get up, and then out of nowhere, it's done. It's over with. Grabbing the shoulder, possibly? I'm not certain.
I think Leekley was just putting his hand up, just covering up with his arm, and just wasn't defending.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're right. He started to sneak in those shots.
Well, as I mentioned, a very close call there about Bolduc. You know, it's a fight where he was actually slated to win here, and it could have gone horribly wrong.
Really impressed, and you see the best in the business, and Mark Law is working on him right now on that nose, and they did a great job in the corner and keep it from really being an issue. All right, back to the cage. Our official decision, or the official result from Jennifer Oxendine.
Your referee stops this fight at 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the second round for your winner by TKO out of the OEB blue corner.